Well, hey guys, I hope you're having a great Memorial Day weekend. I was just thinking, it's like 3 weeks until Father's Day. And if my wife, for example, asked me, what would you like for Father's Day? I might be hard pressed of coming up with some ideas because I have a lot of bourbons and whiskeys behind me. So I thought, why don't I come up with a list that would pretty much be, if someone wanted to give me a bourbon or whiskey, what 8 bourbons or whiskeys would make a great Father's Day gift? So I've come up with that list. So, and this is in no particular order, not one to the first one's the best or the last one's the best. These are just 8 ideas that I think would make a great Father's Day gift. They're a little unusual, and hopefully they don't have them, but you'll need to check what they do have, and because there's 8 of them and they're all solid choices, you pick the one that you think your person, your favorite guy for Father's Day might like best. So the first one is pretty new. It just came out a little while back, and that's this Chattanooga whiskey Founders Edition. This is the 12th anniversary blend, and I think technically it's not a bourbon, but it is blended with bourbon. I know at least 2 of the blends are bourbon. The third one I think has a lot of different whiskeys in it, so technically it may not be labeled a bourbon, but I promise you any bourbon lover would love this Chattanooga whiskey 12th anniversary blend. I've had the 11th anniversary and it's wonderful. The 12th just came out. It's under $100. It's absolutely a top gift idea for the bourbon lover in your family. So we'll put it over here. Next up, not available in my area, but because it is YouTube and the internet, it may be available in yours, and I'm saying if it's available in yours, absolutely a great idea for Father's Day. This is the Lucky 7. They call this the Holiday Toast. It's a Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey. It's a double oak. I'm a big fan of double oak bourbons. And it's 115 proof. And to me, this is Christmas in a bottle. This stuff has all the flavors going for it. The cinnamon, the nutmeg, the just everything that makes you think of a fall or winter dessert in a bottle. 115 proof is not too high for me. I don't think it's too high for most people. And it's just wonderful. I know it is widely available up north. So if this is available in your area, this is a solid gift. And Lucky 7 has other ones that are solid gifts too. I just happen to have this one, and I think it's wonderful. In fact, we did a video on it if you'd like to know more about it. In fact, most of these have videos if you'd like to know more about it. Third on my list is going to be a little unusual and a little controversial. Why is that? Not because it's a Barrell product, and Barrell with 2 L's, because it's an amburana finished bourbon. Amburana has been all the rage lately. It's kind of dying down a little bit now. And because of it, I'm seeing these Barrell amburana bottles everywhere. They're not hard to find, at least in my area. And amburana gets kind of a love-hate relationship because some of the amburanas out there, they let them sit in those barrels too long, and the amburana is just overwhelming. And when I did my review, in fact, I did a blind with this amburana, I said the same thing, that some of them are just too strong. I can't taste the bourbon. I'm just tasting some kind of, finished whiskey. Doesn't taste like a bourbon. This one is different. This is one of the best amburanas out there because they blend bourbon not used, not finished in amburana back in to get that amburana at a right level, and they did a good job of it. Barrell's one of the best blenders in the business. It's under $100, and if you've got a fan of amburana in your family and he doesn't have one of these, I think this is a must gift. If he's never had amburana, I still think this is a great gift for Father's Day. So that's number 3. on our 8 great ideas for Father's Day. The next one is probably one of my favorite, top 5 favorite, maybe even top 3 favorites right now of things, bourbons that I enjoy to drink. And that is this Dark Arts. This is a straight bourbon whiskey finished in French oak staves, not French oak barrels. The difference really doesn't matter much to the taste. It's really just how they finish the bourbon. So this is done with French oak staves, and again, under $100, and this stuff is wonderful. This is my backup bottle. I'm currently got one on the shelf right now, and I go to it probably more than any other finished bourbon right now. So it's one of my personal favorites. I think I paid right around $79 for it, but it is a great gift. If they've never tried this Dark Arts, I totally recommend this Dark Arts finished in French oaks. It is absolutely flavorful. And they got a nice topper they put on it too. And you'll see that some are in glass, some are on wood. I don't know why. I've gotten 2 different bottles with 2 different toppers, but the last one I got has this nice glass topper. Next up is from a name that's been making the rounds lately, and that is Redwood Empire. Now, this is their Screaming Titan. It was the latest release of a wheated bourbon. It's 100 proof. It is a toasted and charred bourbon. It's got that toast and char flavor to it, but that wheat smoothness. And I just think it's, right now, one of the best wheated bourbons, one of the best new wheated bourbons on the market. I absolutely love it. This is kind of limited. I wouldn't say it's a special release, but I don't see it everywhere, and I do have some of my viewers saying they're having a hard time finding it. So in North Georgia and Georgia area, not a problem finding it. I don't know about your area, but if you see it, this is a great choice for Father's Day. And if you can't find that, I have an alternate for you. This Redwood Empire Pipe Dream. Now this Pipe Dream, I see it everywhere. This is the cast strength version of their Pipe Dream. It's a regular bourbon, not a wheated. And that's a good alternative if you don't see the Redwood Empire. But this stuff, if you find it, I think it's great. If you've got a wheated bourbon drinker in your family, this is a must. Next up, another tall bottle. Now, I have not been a fan of 2 times oak, or 2XO as they call it, for a long time. But when I tasted this tribute blend, I thought it was absolutely wonderful. I said it was a savory bomb, a savory masterpiece. It's just a little bit sweet, but that savory, that boost of flavor you get from the 2XO, I don't know how they did it, but it's wonderful. Now, I will tell you that depending on where you go, you might see it more than $100. Most often I see it at $99. Occasionally, someone boots it another $5 or $10. So it may get over that $100 mark in your area, but if you can find this for $99, to me, this is the best 2XO out there. And I'm even talking Gemma, Kentucky. I know that Gemma, Kentucky is considered a really, really good bourbon. I like this better than the Gem of Kentucky. So you're hearing that from me. Next up is kind of an unusual choice. These are all what you call standard releases. Whether they're limited or not, they're still standard releases. They're not what we call barrel picks or store picks. And if you've ever gone into a store and then realize you may not be the bourbon connoisseur in the family, very often you'll see on top of barrels, and maybe that's why they call them that, barrel picks or store picks. That's where a store has selected a particular barrel to have bottled, and it's usually a single barrel, and they'll have bottled, and it's just for that store. And it could be hundreds of bottles they get in the end. But the point being that they selected a particular barrel to have in their store. Now the problem is that every store is different, and the store picks vary in quality and taste from store to store. So if you wanted to get your bourbon lover a store pick, what would be a safe store pick? A safe single barrel to pick that would be unusual that he probably would not have in his collection. So first up, I would tell you, see if you can find this Old Forester Blue Label. Now this is their single barrel, and for what I know about Old Forester is the stores don't pick this. The stores simply order the single barrel and it comes that way from the distillery. The distillery picks which single barrel, and I've had 3 of these and I've never ever been disappointed. They're all cask strength. This one's 129.6. They're all right around that within a few percentage points. And it's the best Old Forester out there. If you've got an Old Forester fan, if he's got some of these Old Foresters like you see over here, get him one of these blue single barrel cask strength. Now there's a black label that is the 100 proof, which also is very good. But I recommend this blue label. This thing just blows the socks off of any of the other Old Foresters out there. Any of the Whiskey Row series. To me, this is the best Old Forester on the market. And it's definitely a little hard to find. But if you find it and you can get it. Now, all 3 I've ever bought were under $100. Sometimes you have to buy a store pick or something else along with it. But I found them for under $100. They are totally worth it. You will totally surprise your husband, your father, your grandfather, your best friend with something of this quality from Old Forester. Last but not least is something everybody knows when they see it. Maker's Mark. And you know it because of the red wax that they dip these things at the distillery when they bottle these. Now, this is a private selection, and you're going like, hey, Mike, what's the big deal? I see private selections everywhere. Yes and no. Yes, you do see private selections, but did you know there's literally hundreds of combinations of private selections? Because they use staves. They use 10 staves of different types of staves, and I think there's 5 different stave profiles. So there can be any number of combinations of those 10 staves that they put in the barrel and finish that wheated bourbon, and Maker's Mark is a wheated bourbon, so if you have a wheated bourbon lover in your family, even better. But there's so many different combinations of these stave profiles. Even if he already has a private selection, chances are you can find him a different private selection just by noting what the stave profile is. It'll be 5 sets of numbers, and those numbers indicate how many of those types of staves went in that barrel. So if he has a Maker's Mark and a private selection and you don't know what else to get him, just get him a different private selection. Go to a different store. Chances are you're going to find a different stave profile, and he will still love it. If he loves Maker's Mark Private Select, which typically is cask strength, and it's a lower cask strength than some bourbons, this is 108.2, because Maker's Mark's barrel entry, their proof at barrel entry is lower than most other distilleries. So it's a milder proof bourbon, but still loads of flavor. And I totally recommend the Maker's Mark Private Selection if you got a Maker's Mark. Even if he just has the regular Maker's Mark, get him a private selection. He will absolutely love that private selection. So here are 8 choices for you. A lot of variety. As far as all these bottles I bought under $100, they're all great. I would be happy, tickled pink, to get any one of these as a Father's Day gift, and that's why I'm recommending them to you. I stand behind them. I think they're great gifts, and I think the bourbon lover in your family will think the same. So if you have any questions about that, leave it in the comments. I'm always honest about my reviews, but I totally recommend these 8 great gifts for Father's Day. Cheers.